Top. You are live. All right. Let me jump over to Freethinkers real quick. Make sure we're up. Push this over to the page. Some of your destinations have errors. Which one? Why does Freethinkers have an error? What? Looks like your broadcast was deleted on Facebook. Try creating a new broadcast. Get the fuck out of here. I just heard the destination. You can't be serious right now.
We need to come out and come back in.
Gonna have to fucking get a whole nother link. Looks like your broadcast was deleted on Facebook. Try creating a new broadcast or just remove this destination from the broadcast, then re-add it. Let me see what happens. Hold on. Because I don't think we've gone live yet. Remove.
Say live, but yeah, let me see. See if I see something out here.
See. Oh my god. It's streaming on YouTube, but let's see. Let's go here. Save. I think because I deleted that thing that said we have a meeting scheduled, it deleted the whole damn link. Okay, let's see if that works now, because it says it's pushed over to Freethinkers. Are we on the Freethinkers page? If anybody is watching this live, bear with me. I apologize. Once again, it's on there?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I don't see it on my side. There we go. Okay, cool. I'm going to push this to my page. All right, so for anybody watching this, the StreamYard link to get into this conversation is pinned at the top of the Freethinkers page. So if you are checking this out from my page versus the Freethinkers page, obviously go to the Freethinkers page. But at the top of the pinned post, there is a StreamYard link. It's free. You just hit the link. It'll bring you into the conversation. I'll add you in as a guest, and then you'll be live. Yeah, hit the link. You'll be live.
Learn something new today.
Learn something new today. We are using
StreamYard.
StreamYard.
Never been on StreamYard before. It's actually for the, maybe not for Nikki and I, but for the people who use it, it's actually easier to get on in Zoom. You really just click on it and then say enter, and then you just
pretty much.
You can get in a lot quicker actually than you can from Zoom. So just click on the link. Don't be scared.
The biggest downside is that you have to have, it's a new link every week. So
yeah,
that part's kind of a bummer. But StreamYard's cool. It's got a good feature. It lets us stream live. So it's 8:05, 8:08 now. So yeah, if you're looking to get into the conversation live, go to the Freethinkers page, and the pinned post at the top has the StreamYard link. I'll see the guest invitation. I can add you to the conversation. If you're just interested in having conversation with us, you are welcome to comment in the comment section, and we do see those up here. We do try to tend to them. Sometimes we miss them, but we definitely do try to read those and tend to them. So appreciate you for joining us in any way that you can, and of course supporting us in any way that you can by simply hitting the share button. All you gotta do.
I did.
I
hit the share button.
I hit it every week. And that's like, it's the freest way that you can support your friends, is hit the share button. True. If you share a bunch of bullshit on Facebook, what is one more share? And this is far from bullshit. This is good conversation, because conversation rules the nation.
And so if you share the share, at least like it.
I'm
not gonna lie. Let me tell you the truth.
I
know. There's certain times, even certain forums I'm on, I may not necessarily share it on my main page because I'm a little more cognizant of the people who'll be watching, and I know certain topics I'm gonna kind of go a little crazy, so I'm like, y'all don't need to see this. But I'm getting.
But if you're not even on the show, there's no harm, no foul in hitting the share button. You know what I
mean? I agree with that. But sometimes when people when they actually on and they having a conversation, when they don't, just hit like if you're scared to share it. I get it. If you don't want everybody knowing your opinions or whatever.
I mean, and it's, we want to try to take this thing to the next level, and we can't do that without people's support. So hitting share supports us, hitting like supports us, hitting love supports us, joining the page supports us, forwarding our YouTube stream supports us. There's just so many ways that you can support for free.
And to take it a little further, even if you don't share it, by hitting like, you're tapping into those algorithms and you're bringing it to the forefront of other pages, to other people's threads. So
yeah,
just
it's always cool to see where people come from. I was looking at the member list today. We got 398 people, and obviously a lot of them have been brought into the group by you and I and other members, of course. But then there were some people who were just totally organic. Found us on a search, found it by somebody sharing something on Instagram, and I'm like, hell yeah. So I mean, we really do want to reach as many people as we possibly can. This is not just a local thing. This is some locals who enjoy talking, but when we get the feedback that we get from the people that we get it from after the show is over, we know that the conversations we have are such important conversations.
And look around. This is what, because I'm like, when I find something that I do, then I become like a junkie of it. So I watch podcasts, I watch interviews, I watch, like, even the way I watch preachers, orators, because I'm working on my speech, I'm working on my delivery and my communication. These type of, even if you see other talk shows, debate type shows, they not like this.
No,
it ain't
that
many people that can bring it as raw as we do, and then come back for
every week
and be back the next week and be all right
every week. And and I watch every show after we're done airing, and I always find little things where I went wrong and like, shut up, Nikki, stop talking, and but it's like I thought about that. I was like, nobody else does this. Like, nobody else has good, fluid, intellectual, like, stay on point, vulnerable, like, just,
and the group is gonna check you on your shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real deal adult shit we got going on over here. This is, we used to joke all the time that it was like our church on Tuesday nights, but this is like church/therapy for a lot of us. And not even, I don't think.
That's for y'all who don't go to church.
Well, I don't.
I'm joking.
And I don't go to therapy either. So this is it, goddammit. No pun intended. But it's just, we want to take it further. We want to reach more people, and just point being, whoever's watching this, your support is greatly appreciated, and it's needed every week to hit that share button and tell people about us. Even if you yourself aren't maybe a big, huge part of this because you don't get involved in the conversations or whatever, like, that is okay. Just sharing it opens the door for other people. And we talk about things a lot of people don't want to talk about. We talk about things people won't talk about. We talk very candidly about things that are very sensitive subjects, but I think that we do it in a way where, for the most part, most of our conversations, we come away from, still intact with all of our arms and all of our legs.
And let me go a step further, because I've heard this from a couple of people. We are not super intellectual, educated. We not, it's like, we not that. I've heard people intimidated to get on the show because they like, y'all know what y'all talking about. I'm like, we don't know.
Mom told me that once. He was like, y'all know what y'all talking about. I was like, no, we don't. So we freestyle this baby every Tuesday.
So yeah, don't think you're getting on with a bunch of intellectuals. It's people got their own perspective, and it's gonna be respected.
Yeah, for
and challenged at the same time. Challenged and respected.
Which, how is that a bad thing, right? Like, we be around people that motivate us. We try to be around people who support us. We be around people who, inspire us to do good things or to think outside the box. Like, and I think that that's what has just continuously had me keep coming back for so many weeks and months and years now, because this is a personal journey of growth for me every single week. Oh, look who we got coming to the show tonight!
Look at the everybody's favorite.
She is. When she texted me and told me she was coming, I was like, yes.
And let me take it one step further. This is going to continue to be more important as the months and years go on. You know why? Because free speech and free thought is slowly fading away to where either you can't say or now it's being frowned upon for you to feel comfortable to speak your mind. That's slowly fading away more and more. So conversations like these are going to be even more important. Watch what I say. I'm on some prophetic stuff. I'm a love just going back. I got about a couple dozen predictions out there. I'm just waiting for them. Some of them already starting. I'm like, I told y'all. I told you. I'm over here dropping game. Anyway, Tierra, what's on your mind? What's going on?
Not much. Just listening to you guys talk about the importance of having these conversations and dialogue between different minds and not always agreeing, because a lot of times you'll get in groups that only basically is your echo chamber, and that's not healthy to be able to progress as a community, is having only somebody that agrees with you. You need to have healthy disagreements. It doesn't mean that you don't like the person any less. It just means, hey, we may not see things the same, but I respect your thought. So,
and thank you for being a part of this, almost every Tuesday with us. You've got a busy life. You have plenty of things I'm sure that you could be doing on Tuesday nights, but I greatly appreciate you committing to doing this with us as many Tuesdays as you can, and it when I watch the shows afterwards, like I'm always just, my heart is full with just all the things that people contribute to these conversations. And I think maybe not even knowing how much we're contributing, but it's so much that we contribute to this. So I totally thank you for being a part of this on Tuesdays, and Denise making time today to be a part of this. I know you got a busy schedule yourself. And
hello, admins. We're going to get y'all to commit to moderating at least once every 2 to 3 months.
I could dig that.
Sprinkle your flavor in there.
I could dig that, and I try to post things, even if
I
see that.
At least try to do something as relation. If I'm not on, or keep the conversations going.
Absolutely.
Since we're obviously not going to get a Tierra Talks anytime soon.
Baby,
talk about these candles. Let's talk about these candles.
This candle has taken over my life, but no.
I know that's right.
I know that's right. When you have a baby, I know Denise knows that the hard work that goes into something that's really your focus, even though you want to do other things, but this is what's important right now. You have to nurse it, nurture it, and build it, and make sure that it's your best work, because everybody you're giving this to the world, and so it's special. And so you take the time and the sacrifice to make sure it's not as perfect.
Already. All right, what we talking about, Nikki?
So we're going to pick up from last week's topic that we didn't get to cover. Surprise, surprise. Which was the sentiment of, can twerking ever be looked at essentially as elegant or as an art form as ballet? The second one that we have is, I know what it is.
Just go there too, and then we get to the next one. We ain't got to put it all on the plate.
Well, and I threw them up there. Oh, social norms that we need to cancel, and then gift giving. Like, I don't know if you guys got a chance to see the video that I posted. Ari Fletcher bought Moneybag Yo, her boyfriend, 28 acres worth of land for his birthday, and there's some saltiness, it sounds like, coming from some other celebrities. Like, oh, that's a wife type of gift. That's not a girlfriend type of gift. And we've had gift giving etiquette conversation before, but this is a little bit different. So we'll start with, what are we starting with? The twerking and the ballet. I think, Tierra, you posted that about 2 weeks ago, the topic on the page.
And really, how the reason why I did this is because I wanted to draw attention to how our culture, Black culture, has been so devalued. Whether it was when jazz first came on the scene, you think about jazz, they were saying a lot of religious people thought it was the devil's music. And now jazz is all revered now. It's like this art that is just beautiful, and elegant to everybody that actually studies it or knows, about jazz. But in the beginning, it was devalued, and was heavily cultured in the South by our people. And as a result, you see that same type of theme with a lot of our work. So when I think about twerking, right, and we think about ballet, right, two forms of dance, and you can say ballet is elegant because of whatever the music or the style of dance. Why is twerking seem as non-elegant? Is that because we devalue, or is it more than about sexual and what that dance emphasizes?
Because it's sexual and it's a sex dance.
I think it's a mix though, because one, when we think about like ballet and what culture and what race ballet, I'm sure the origin of that was, that's a whole thing in itself. So when you can like, you're comparing cultures, and the most elegant culture in America, according to American standards, has always been white culture. So when we are comparing cultures in that way, like that's a whole nother topic that has to be like, so that's one thing. And I think the other thing, like what you were saying, Tierra, about is jazz is revered this way too, but that's because like, like in the 90s, like the most revered person was like Kenny G. So it got whitewashed. You know what I mean? So that's the one thing in itself. Like when it was Miles Davis doing Bitches Brew and whatever other like crazy jazz was going on during that time, and John Coltrane, and they were just doing their thing, I'm sure it wasn't given that same respect. But then when it got whitewashed, it's given a different type of respect. And the same thing with rap. Like rap is now the biggest genre ever, and it wasn't given respect until it got whitewashed as well. And twerking was also whitewashed and is given a little more respect than it was given before. Now that you can twerk in your gym class at Planet Fitness, you know what I mean? What is elegant is what is white.
Truth.
Just
because ballet was heavily in Europe. It was they were prostitutes.
Oh wow!
Really?
It was a mechanism of prostitution with ballet. Wow.
Really?
Yes. And so
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know a lot about ballet, but
it was a lot of prostitution because one, it was expensive and people didn't have money and access, and so a lot of the girls worked with street workers as well.
Well, how interesting is that then to put ballet on a pedestal?
Yeah,
but twerking is in the trash, or twerking is for trashy people. That's interesting because one of the issues that was hit quite a few times in that post was the association to twerking being sexual and ballet just being ballet. Like, oh, they're not the same thing. And I don't remember who it was. I don't know if it was UQ. I don't remember who it was. It was like, well, do you go to the ballet, or do you go to the strip club? And I was like, well, that's a really good point. But to hear ballet had an unsavory, I guess, what you would call societal wise, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Because when you think about girls who twerk, especially, on social media, the negative, feedback that they get because they're being sexual. Well, she might not be selling nothing but an image, whereas what you just told us in ballet, they're selling the real deal. That's interesting.
A lot of dance was about celebration or mating. Even if you could see that same behaviors in animals. Animals will have certain. I've seen on Animal Planet like birds ruffling their feathers type,
shake a tail feather, shit.
As a mating call. And they call that a beautiful dance of
Right.
the sexes. And so nature was never seen as provocative. It's a part of a nature, a call to mate. But we have sexualized this in a bad way. We made it a bad thing. Because I believe it's heavily influenced by African culture, which we know twerking originated out of dance stemming from Africa. And so I just feel like a lot of things that we personally showcase to the world is devalued always. And and like Denise said, it has to be whitewashed first for everybody to agree. You see it with hair. You literally see our culture with hair where we couldn't wear braids, nails, all these things, right? Dreads, all these things. They criticize our culture in different forms. But then here, when now Khloe Kardashian walking around with braids, it's cool. Our kids getting sent home for this stuff.
Hair getting cut at school.
I remember not too long ago when I was a waitress about 15 years ago, like they wouldn't let no worker have dreads. It's like, are you kidding me? But that's how our culture is devalued and not seen as elegant or beautiful or anything of purpose or merit. And I just think you can see it in. I'm not saying that twerking is just a high art, but why shouldn't it be? If it's done right. Why shouldn't it be?
Right.
That's high level twerking, y'all.
Yeah, it's a skill.
High level. That is a skill set.
What's high level twerking?
Young.
I can't twerk like that. Like maybe when I was younger, but I can't move the booty like that. Like it's skilled. You really have to be skilled.
Yeah, it's not just popping ass. I mean, there's actually, you have to be coordinated. You have to be on beat. I mean, you really have to know how to move your body. And I mean, belly dancing would probably be put above twerking. And it's like, that's just as sensual. That's just as sexual. You've got just as much body possibly showing. Now, granted, you're focusing on your core and your hips as opposed to maybe the butt, but body is body, it's just
body is not body. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Q, because you.
No, go ahead. Body is not body.
Why do you say that?
Your elbow and your ass ain't the same.
Body you ain't twerking no elbow. You ain't body. You ain't twerking no elbow.
Body ain't body.
But when we're talking about, just the central parts of the body.
Okay.
But for somebody who has a thing for hips and belly and just the curvature of a woman, that may be far more enticing to somebody than seeing a girl with a big old booty, twerking. I mean, so obviously, beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
It's not for the masses, because if it was, you would see more people belly dancing and less people twerking. The reason you see more twerking than you see ballet or belly dancing is because it's more appealing.
Well, and it's also been whitewashed. You don't see a bunch of white girls belly dancing. You still don't see that, but you see a bunch of white girls twerking.
Hey.
What?
The whitewashing can apply for society as a whole, but it don't apply for everybody. Just like when we seen the little skinny models in Cosmopolitan, all black men wasn't going for that. We liked them thick back in the day. That we wasn't going for no skinny girls. We know our instinct knows what it wants. And I'm not going to overlook that. Some of that stuff is, look, I know what my eyes see, and I know how my body responds to when it sees certain things. My body don't respond no type of way when I look at ballet. It responds a little bit when I see belly dancing. That's
right.
Again,
beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
No. Again, how many belly dancers have you seen on Instagram in the last 3 months, Tier?
See, but you got to understand, this is not our American culture. If we go over to Asia countries like India and things like that, that's going to be very common. Ballet dancing is a whole thing. And it's very popular, Bollywood, with having dance scenes. And what do you think they're doing in their dancing? They're having their women, they're twisting their hips. it's just not American. We don't see it in American culture as much. Ballet is very popular. To the point where the reason why we haven't seen it as much. Well, some people love the legs. Some guys are leg men. Some guys are butt men. Some guys are breast men. So, you have all these different things. But twerking has been around since, you think about it long ago. Sir Mix-a-Lot was like, I like big butts, and I cannot lie.
And that song still be popping to this day. When
they were twerking on that video.
And they were thin.
They were thin for what we see today,
but
they were thick. They had ass. And my thing is, it was a lot of people that was criticizing, like, oh my God, I can't believe they have ass and stuff. Now, guess what they got? Ass. Everybody got ass now. Everybody got a BBL.
Why, Tiara? Why?
Because that's what society has told us.
Stop with the society. No, it's not.
That's what
men, the opposite sex of what you're trying to attract, tells you what they want to see.
Our bodies have even been whitewashed. Yep. That's why our body types are more acceptable than they used to be, because they've been put on. Cute.
You want? Let me answer this for you, Denise.
Lips, hips, and dips. Okay.
You know why it is now? Is because technology. Back then, the reason they focused on breast and white women, because that's all they could get was breast implants. The booty, they couldn't do nothing about that. So they had to focus and say, this is what's beautiful, this is what's popular, this is what's in. Thin with big breasts, because that's all white women could do, is be thin with big breasts. But soon as the invention of them butt implants came in, everything changed. Because technology now allows you to get what you want. The same thing with lips. Once they learn how to put the Botox in, now everybody want big lips. When they learn how to tan and do all, without getting cancer for the most part, then that's when everybody want to be dark. All that stuff happens with technology. They tell you it's ugly until they learn how to do it. Once they learn how to assimilate it, then they be like, oh, well, this is in now. That's because you finally learn how to do it. It wasn't never out though.
That may be true. Because, they've been poking and prodding at black women for centuries. You can look at Sarah Boatman, where she had the large enlarged, butt, and they put her out as like on Ripley's Believe It or Not type of stuff.
Circus attraction.
It's circus attraction. Like, they poked and prodded and thought it was, oh, look at this peculiar shape, and then now, decades later. Centuries later, now
they said peculiar, but they traveled her all over the world, not just because it was peculiar, because it was something sexual and attracting to them, and everybody wanted to see it. And you'll say, oh, that's interesting. That's the easy way of saying interesting, is like, oh, that's but you don't want to say that because it wasn't popular to say at the time.
Wow. That makes that a whole lot different.
What do you mean?
Because when I thought about it before, it was more so like thinking about it in a sense of like us kind of being mocked and kind of like just, not something that was revered, but really that was just a way to kind of disguise the fact that there was an attraction there.
Exactly. And I can give you an example even now. That stuff it's always been like that, but people, they try to substitute curiosity instead of saying I'm attracted, because you don't want to be outcast or looked at as weird. That goes to the whole groupthink mentality. Truth be told, body types like Lizzo have been attractive to men for the longest period of time.
Oh, absolutely.
But up until the last maybe 15 so years, then it wasn't as acceptable for you to say, hey, I like big women like that. Because then they'd be like, oh, really? And it's one of those things to where society was frowned down upon, like, oh, that's beautiful. But now, since it's okay, then people don't even have a problem speaking up, saying they like that. They don't mind, like, hey, this is my trophy right here. But it all comes with being the acceptance of society. Now you don't have to hide it and say, I hit that because I was just drunk. I was just curious. I didn't know what it was like. Those are the excuses that we made back in the day. Now I could be like, oh, I like them big. That's how I like it. It wasn't popular to say back then. But yeah, go ahead.
So that's why I said society, because it is society that drives these accepted images or sends these messages of what society, men, whatever.
Yes, but the society doesn't push the attraction, though. That's what I'm saying. The attraction is already there.
It can.
I agree.
Right. It may not push the attraction, but it pushes, just like you said, back in the day, somebody would lie about being attracted to a big girl, but today how it's socially acceptable. So the attraction never changed, but society's okay, well, we're going to go ahead and let her in. We're going to go ahead and let him in. We're going to go ahead and let this be, acceptable now. I mean, the stuff that's acceptable today, like socially, was not acceptable in high school. It just wasn't. And what's fucked up about it is during those times, if you were the big girl, if you were the flat-chested girl, if you were the no-butt girl, if you were the no-hip girl, if you were the all of these things that back then, if you weren't it, society lets you know you weren't it. So it builds that insecurity. You say that, but that's not how we felt. You can be pretty as can be, but if you don't have the it factor, if you don't have the parts on the body that society, magazines, television, videos, men said was attractive, this is why we got this fucking culture of women looking identical today.
Man,
everybody got the same butt, everybody got the same boobs, everybody got the same belly button, everybody got the same nose, the same lips. And I hate to criticize women. I hate to, because I've grown up my whole life, pretty much always subscribing to the ugly duckling theory. So I hate to criticize women, but like, I have a problem with women looking identical today. I feel sad for women that look like the next woman, that look like the next woman, that look like the next woman. I love her to death, but K. Michelle, I don't even know who the fuck she looks like anymore. Little Kim, it's her, but it's like, whoa, who's in there? And I understand body dysmorphia, like I do, because again, I was picked on all the time for having glasses, for having acne, for not having a big butt, for having my hips being too fucking big, like having big feet, being tall, being skinny, was always picked on for stuff like that. And so I understand how it can wear a person down. And that's not to say that men don't get it too, because I know men get body shamed and, we talk about y'all's thang-a-langs if it's not big enough, so some things you can't do nothing about. It's the same thing for us, but society is far more gentler to men than it is for women. And so just seeing, I feel like,
ooh,
you don't think so?
Not in the same way. If a man gets Botox and he get a tummy tuck and dude, what's wrong with you get clowned for doing the same type of cosmetic upkeep that women do? A man will get clowned badly for that.
I don't know, because today I feel like it's so socially acceptable for people to get Botox.
About he got lipo, so I was like, what? Dude, what are you doing? Why do you feel as a man that you need to get lipo? Like, you get clowned for that type of stuff.
That's because society is more gentle on a man being overweight, or a man having love handles, or a man not having a six-pack, or a man having some man boobs. Like, society is far more easy on y'all's physique,
yes,
than it is for us.
Trying to do that maintenance and upkeep the way women do, it's not acceptable for me in the same way it is for women.
But what do men really get? I mean, I can see men getting hair plugs.
If you said you got a tummy tuck today, I'd be like, oh, okay, how you feel? If I said I got a tummy tuck today, they'd be like,
but if you lost 100, but if you lost 100 pounds, if you lost 200 pounds,
now you got to have a backstory.
No, but generally, I mean, and maybe this is a conversation men don't talk about. Like men don't talk about plastic surgery. I don't know. I think because we are so used to plastic surgery now that it'd be like, oh shit, okay, a man went and got some work done, No. I don't know.
When I was younger, they were showing like the first time you would see plastic surgery in a like kind of acceptable form would be like on TLC, like one of like the Learning Channel.
Right.
Starting to show that stuff then. And I remember being younger, and I remember what was in during my time, and it wasn't me.
Okay.
like truth be told, like brown girls never been in. It's always been the
Right.
extreme. It's always been light skinned girls or dark skinned girls. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's tough
always,
being in between.
It definitely is tough. I agree with. I'm the
all
in
these in
between
between
too.
people on this.
I'm the in between too.
Right.
Wow.
Right. It was never like the you was the thing. And then of course there's like featureism and stuff like that. So it's like I remember when I was younger, I was not in. And I remember thinking when they started showing that plastic surgery stuff, I already had it lined up in my head what I was getting done when I got older. I'm like, I'm gonna get this done, I'm gonna get that done, I'm gonna da 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 da. And I started thinking once I got older, I was like, yo, what if we all did look the same? I was like, because whatever the standard of beauty is, if we really could all look the same, what would that be like if we all look the same?
Then are you all beautiful?
You know,
right.
What's so crazy? It was on the Twilight Zone. I used to watch the older Twilight Zones, the black and white ones.
Black and white.
They actually did a skit off of that. They had everybody look like pigs, like a pig nose.
Oh, I remember that.
And then they had a woman that, you know, was typical blonde, and they thought she was ugly, but everybody else looked the same. And it was just awkward, you know. But I think that it harms us more than it being beneficial if everybody look alike. I mean, it does take attention off of certain things, but you try this even at schools. You know, they do this at schools where they do the uniforms.
Yeah.
And I get it, because there's some kids that don't have the privilege to be able to go buy expensive coats and shoes, and so you don't want people to be mistreated. But at the same time, individuality is so important right now, and not being in a group. So I don't know. It's kind of like a gift and a curse with like thinking like that or programming.
And I think that's where it comes from initially. That's what I was gonna say is, and I told you, I don't know if y'all heard me say I'm gonna start doing these segments on like if I was a president, I'm just the first laws I would start changing. Like I would fix the ABCs.
I like that.
Oh
like,
yeah.
And the reason I say that is because from an early age, we teach children to just go with the flow and not question things, even if it don't make sense to us. It's like, well, it don't matter. Just go with it. You know, I don't know why, you know, desert and dessert and this is just go with it. It's just like, well, hold on, just, you know,
read and red.
Right. Right. You know, so but when you do that subconsciously, you're teaching people don't ask, especially from an early age, don't ask questions. It's more important to fit in and get along like everybody else than be the one that's on the outside standing saying why. Because now you're going to look like an outcast. Now you're going to look like the strange person. You don't want to be the strange person. The strange person is the one that gets picked on and gets rejected, and they're the one that gets teased. And that's what they teach that from an early age. So even kids, as soon as they find a kid that doesn't act exactly the same way as everybody else, or they don't look, then they start teasing them. So now you do everything you can in your power to fit in with the rest of the crowd because you don't want to be teased or rejected. When in actuality, anybody who's successful in business understands rejection, going against the grain, those type of things. That's what makes you successful in life, being able to overcome obstacles and seeing if everything is just like the old story that you heard. I'm sure y'all heard that, like they sent this salesman down to the South America, and he was a shoe salesman. And then they said, well, he went down there and nobody was wearing shoes. And then he was like, oh, y'all got to send me back. I can't sell anything. Nobody wears shoes here. And they sent another salesman back, and he was like, hey, I need y'all to bring all the shoes y'all got. Nobody's wearing shoes down here. I can make a killing off of this. So it's just two different mindsets. Like, you're not trying to go with the flow. You see opportunity where it looks like it's obstacles. Yeah. So that's the thing. But the earlier you learn that, then the quicker you'll be an individual, and the less you're trying to get these nose jobs and get your lips to look like everybody else and straighten your hair out and do everything that everybody else does. And some people, unfortunately, they never get to that point, and they'll die trying to be like everybody else.
Yeah. and that's rough. And you like even the concept and the idea of beauty is a strange one when you really think about it. Because like let's say we were just like you know how we talk about gender, like let's say you never told somebody what you know what is gender or what is sexual orientation, if you just kind of let kids just go out into the world and like decide. Like what if it was the same way for beauty? You just let people go out into the world and decide. It's strange that we like have these attractions, and I wonder how many of the attractions that we have to other people and things or whatever we find beautiful is innately in us, as opposed to what's just we've been conditioned to think.
Mm-hmm.
So even the concept of beauty is really strange if you break it down. It's kind of stupid.
Well, it sucks because it sucks because it's a manufactured expectation. You know,
Yeah.
wait till you have kids, right? And your kid doesn't know anything about beauty, magazine, videos, movies. They don't know what pretty is yet. They don't know how to gauge what's beautiful or what's not. You could be the ugliest damn mama in the world. You're gonna always be pretty to your kids, right? But like something as simple as, if I have on, let's say I got a skirt on, and this was so cute, man. This was years ago. Kai was so little, and I don't wear skirts, but I had on this really cute skirt and his tank top, and it was flowy, and it's summertime. And I come downstairs, I just brushed and flat ironed my hair, it was one of those kind of moments, right? I come downstairs and my son was like, "Mama, you look like a princess." And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna fucking die forever." It was the sweetest thing ever. He doesn't know what pretty is. He doesn't, but he knew that whatever that is, that's a princess. And it's like, to him, great, right? But to me on the outside, that's not what society would say is beautiful. That's not what, Vogue would say is beautiful. That's not what, a video vixen would look like. That's, and it's unfortunate that we generally as women, again, I'm not saying men don't have these same, you know, self-esteem issues or insecurity issues, or expectations that you have to live up to as a man physically, outside. But it just sucks that we have to be berated with what's pretty, or what society says is pretty, or what society says is sexy as a woman. Because if you ain't got it, we see what's happening. Women who are spending, umpteen dollars and putting their body on that table to try to get it. And once they get it, they don't usually stop. It's another procedure and another procedure,
Right.
and a bigger set of boobs and more injections in the butt, and let me get my nose tweaked a little bit a second time. And I just read something yesterday talking about how many 20-year-olds have veneers and BBLs already. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
damn,
What's
you know,
BBL?
Brazilian butt lift.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
okay.
they're doing is they're taking what fat from other places and putting it in your ass, usually the fat from your stomach, and they're putting
Yeah,
it in your. So
fat
that's what a lot of
transfers.
people are getting right
These
now.
kids, people haven't even had kids and had a chance to let
Haven't
their
even
body
had a
Right.
kid.
Yeah.
That go ahead.
to even know what their final body, like, state of
Right. Right.
their body
Right,
would be. Like,
right.
trust and believe, my chest was never this big until I had kids.
Mm,
Give it time,
mm.
sister. Like,
Okay, you might get what you want.
Even
Yeah, that
girls,
was, yep.
like my body 10 years ago versus now, or like when I was a teenager, I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I mean?
Right. Where'd that
Right.
come from? Hey?
I didn't have to get that surgery I thought I was gonna have to get when I was a kid. It's here. It's
She's like,
there.
why you come so
Right.
late? I needed you in high school, damn it.
Right. But the other thing is like, and I'm not going to say beauty is a stupid concept, but it still kind of is. I think beauty is a stupid concept when the opposite of beauty is ugly.
Mm.
If it was appreciating whatever you thought was beautiful and just leaving it at that, if it didn't have to be a flip side to the coin
When
of
it's only
it,
one
like there's
concept of beauty, that's the problem.
you
yes.
said what?
I said when it's only one concept of beauty.
Right, right, right.
And what you see nowadays is what I love Rihanna for. you see her come out with her Fenty
Mm-hmm.
lingerie, right? And she made it a point
Mm-hmm.
that in her runway show to show and highlight all kind of body forms. Now you remember with Victoria's Secrets, it was all
stick figure.
stick figures. Like
Mm-hmm.
no one could see them. She really did. And but now you see, even in the little life they have left, they're starting to include full figure women and all these different women of color and things like that, where it's like, wait a minute, you guys were never on that until Rihanna
Mm-hmm.
come. It just takes
Mm-hmm.
people to show the world what really beauty is and stop listening to what white America or the dominant class is telling us what's pretty, because we look
Rihanna's
at TV.
dominant class though. That's still part of the problem.
Well, that's very true. She still has
Like, why do we have to get
influence.
to somebody to that level? To where I just wish we could start making movement on the ground level and stop looking up for changes of direction.
But you got to go against the machine. So the machine is powerful. So you got to have a counter to that. So reality is we know the most beautiful girls are the girl on the block down the street. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or you yourself. But again, you're going against the machine. They have power and money and influence and media. So you have to get a powerful person that understands it needs to be countered. And that's what she was able to do.
And Q, you've done sales for a long time, so you know how this works. Like the whole push for beauty standards is just so that they can push whatever on you. Oh, those lashes aren't long enough. But this model, you can get lashes like her, even though it's not mascara she has on. They're actually false lashes. But get this mascara because it's gonna make you. Oh, and those blemishes on your face. Not cute, but look at this model. She doesn't have any. She washed her face with and now she is so beautiful now. And you need to be beautiful too. And then let me double down and show you what all the girls in the music videos look like. And then let's talk about all the people who, especially back in the days when it was all about covers and magazines, like you're constantly being fed an idea all the time. So when do you have time? If you're 11 years old,
okay,
6 years old,
I got a question now.
Idea? How do you're being sold this idea?
Programmed.
So it's
somebody else has to sell you another idea.
Okay, I'm curious. Like that type of you're imperfect, so we need to make you more perfect. It's geared and aimed more towards women than it is men. Is this something natural? Like, because you have to have in order to control your thoughts, your moves, your pocketbook, you have to be like conditioned to feel that there's something wrong with you. Like, is there an automatic insecurity that comes more with women, or are you conditioned to be more insecure in that type of way from an earlier age? Like, where does that come from? I don't know. I'm just asking a question.
I think it is conditioned at an early age. Girls were meant to be prim and proper, and boys could be rough and rugged.
Patriarchy. Here we go again.
Oh, I didn't want to say anything like that.
I mean, I said it.
For the first time, I probably agree with you. Finally, I'll agree with you. I was like, yeah, that's probably right.
I mean, that's where it comes from.
I mean, thinking about like when my brother was older than me, so I wanted to follow around with my brother. I wanted to be out and play in the dirt and stuff. My mom was like, no, you can't do that. And I'm just like, well, why? And it was always, given to us in an early age that girls were supposed to be quiet and pretty, and she's so pretty, and paint your nails, and you got to get earrings placed in at an early age, which I think is kind of crazy.
I agree.
I hate seeing those babies cry when they get their ears pierced.
I agree.
We did that to little girls, and we did not do that to boys.
Yep.
Right. And you wouldn't do it to boys, because if your boy's ears was pierced back then, that was not a masculine thing. I mean, really and truly, back in the day, if you were a boy with an earring, you were generally gay. I mean, and that's just what it was. Now it's like you got 5-year-olds with double ear piercings, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, see, the double ear piercing is still unfamiliar. I'm still not used to that. When I was growing, by my time, it was like you can get one. Two is too much. 2 is what girls do. 1 is what you
But
can
that
do.
is in our culture. If you look at African cultures, they have piercings all the way up. Earlobes stretch. You know, we used to see
we do too now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, it was in our culture, it was the goth people that had all these stretching the earlobes. But this was something that Africans had big holes in their ears.
I still think that's crazy.
Ages. But it was a sign of beauty. Was them to stretch their necks, which was to stretch their necks.
Super crazy.
Well, the lip plate.
The lip
super
plate.
Crazy.
And Asian cultures to bind the feet to make them small because women could not
super crazy.
Women could not have large feet.
All that stuff is the last 4 things you mentioned extremely crazy.
With the corsets in European culture.
Yes.
And they would in the Victorian era where they would squeeze their waist because somebody told them that the Coke bottle looks amazing.
29-inch waist. Like, oh my God. Literally ruining your lungs, your digestive tract. Like,
crazy.
You are forming your body. Like, and it's not natural. It's not healthy. But all of those things were a sign of class.
So how long are we gonna listen to these rich gay men that's trying to tell you what's beautiful to real men?
Well, but I think so that's a perfect point, Q, and that's the one thing that I want to say that I have definitely experienced.
That ain't true, Denise. Hold on, why it ain't true, Denise?
That's not true because it's just someone who's trying to hit a lick. They're trying to hit a lick.
Yep.
It's just a person who's trying to hit a lick. It's just like if, for instance, remember when this is a conspiracy theory, by the way, but remember when like avocados were all the rage? It was like you got to get an avocado. It's gonna like it was the healthy.
Oh my God, yes.
Or remember when mangoes were making a comeback and it was mango juice this and you don't think it's somebody with an avocado farm right now?
Sure, that's how milk started. Yeah, that's what they try to tell you. Milk was healthy.
No, we gotta make this. We gotta start telling people that avocados are the way. Whoever's making the corsets, whatever the material was in there, they were like, look, we got to come up with a campaign to sell these corsets. Whatever the doctors who were, doing the noses and whatever, got to get these celebrities and this person and that person and let people start knowing like it's okay to get these surgeries. And also we're here. Like it's a sales tactic.
Denise.
Capitalism.
No, let's back up. No. We're going to argue this for a second. Who runs the fashion industry?
White people.
Go a little deeper. You can do better than that.
He's saying gay.
He looking for gay people. Well, white gay people?
No, not just that. Women and gay men.
I say men. I would say men more than anybody.
Even men more than anybody. Houses. It's still go to the gay side of it. It's gay men run the fashion industry. My whole point is, why are you going to someone who's not sexually interested in you to reach to their advice to tell you what men who are interested in you are attracted to?
Because they know men. They know men.
They got what? Hold on. So Tia, you tell what? Go ahead, Denise.
Q. How many of these big booty, small waist, I done got my nose done, I done got some added hips, my face looks like all the other Instagram chicks on Instagram, have you seen with the ballers, with the dudes that got bread, with the whatever. So it gets to a point where with women and beauty, and the reason why mothers and grandmothers push this so far down their daughters and their granddaughters' necks is because you can have a better quality of life the more you are. The dumbest bricks. There is a thing called pretty privilege. You can get a lot just by being beautiful. And
that's the fault of the woman though.
You can get you an old cat, he gonna pay for these surgeries, and you can go get you a dude in the NBA.
Yeah. So that's the fault of the women, though.
Is it?
Yeah. So and that's anybody.
It's a survival mechanism.
Anybody who chases the 1% and forsakes the 99 is just not you're not playing the odds well. It's not wisdom on your part.
Followers say something different, Q.
Well, women,
but that's not reality, though. That's still not reality.
And that's true. That's true. That's just the reality that we see over and over and over. But you're right. You're right.
Hold on. Women, a lot of times, before we had the ability to make money for ourselves, we had to present ourselves in a way to attract men, attract a man, a husband, because we needed a husband to basically be able to do any goddamn thing. So a lot of times we did have to put ourselves out there to be this version of ourselves to attract the right male to be our suitor. That was just nature. That's how the world was working. So this is just kind of now
you can be the best. Being the best version of yourself is not the same as you getting tummy tucks and butt implants and bleaching your skin, and that's two different things.
But women, okay, they didn't have tummy tucks and all that at that time, but they were doing other things. They were
girdles,
hair, girdles, makeup,
wearing shoes that are too small.
And what's the proof that those people got married faster, more often, and more long lasting than the women who didn't?
Well, it was more marriages then than it is now.
I'm saying even then to now, whatever the percentage is, those people who do that don't get married at a higher rate. Like I said, they're chasing after a 1%, which is just unwise in my opinion, but it doesn't take away. Listen, even in high school, you talking about the basketball player, the jock, the popular guy, you're talking about the 5%. The other 95 were just regular people like me. That's, so if you wanted to overlook the 300, 400, 500 people who was average like me to go after the ball, and that's why the ball players was sleeping with 20, 30, 40 different women, and we was trying to find one because they all chasing after the same 5%. It's just not wise. And there was plenty of men, average, nice, decent guys who would have made your life a lot happier had you just gave us a glance.
Man, if you're in the game, you're gonna be in the game to get number one. You ain't in the game to get dead last. You want the best of the best.
And what did I say, Tierra? What did I say?
I'm just
you
saying,
doing
it's not.
It ain't wisdom, though. It's not wisdom. So now, okay, thank you, Tierra. So the other part is my only issue with that. If you in it to win it, you saying I'm going billionaire bust, I ain't got no problem with that. But shut your damn mouth in the process of you doing it. You just stay focused. I don't want to hear about men ain't no good and men don't want to do this. No, you're chasing after that 1% and they ain't looked at you yet. And you're steadily getting older. And the older you get, they looking at women that's younger than you. Don't get mad at the rest of society because you fixed your eyes on the 1% and forsaking all the other men that's around. Don't do it.
Q.
Yes.
So you don't think that your regular average guy who might be single, he's single, you don't think he's looking at the big booty Instagram girl and not settling down with the good girl?
Nope, they don't want them. They don't want them girls.
Oh no.
They'll sleep with them. They'll sleep with them.
Thank you, Nikki.
But that don't mean they're gonna wife them. That don't mean they're gonna wife them.
Thank you, Nikki.
I'm getting wifed nowadays.
Wifing the one that they probably should be wifing because they want to sleep with that one. So it's still the same.
Okay, this is what I want you to do. I got a homework assignment for you.
I never had free thinkers homework.
I don't think we've ever given out homework before. It's the first.
Go to your thread. Just go to your thread. Let's get a good sample size. You go to your thread when you're done. All y'all can do this. Look for 25 married couples. Tell me what those married couples look like to you. Is this some guy who got this big booty, thin woman? I don't find the broke ones, find the rich ones, find all of them. Just tell me, are they average looking people? On average, you're going to find a bunch of average looking people, married, average looking people. So we focusing on stuff and saying that I can't say this enough time. That's not reality. It ain't reality. It's just a presentation of what people try to sell you. That's how people get sold on stuff so easy. I got a lot of married friends. They nice looking people, but they're average people. I'm a nice looking person, but I'm still an average person. Ain't nothing special about me. You know, we just get carried away. I don't get this.
But that's also the 40-year-old us versus the 18-year-old us and the 21-year-old us and the 28-year-old us and sometimes the 32, 35-year-old us. Like, this is us now, accepting us for who we are, loving us for who we are, being able to have maybe made peace with our past about insecurities that we had. I can only speak for myself.
No, let me tell you my experience. And I believe that this is the experience for most people. You may take on that mindset high school after you get out of high school. It only take about 1 to 2 crazy buffoons that you deal with in relationships, and you like, you know what, the looks ain't we got to reform our thinking about these looks, because I don't care how good you look. If you put me through hell, you can get ugly real fast. So your mindset changes on what you think is actual beauty. And it don't got to be purely about just looks on the surface level. It's like what their conversation, what their goals, what their dreams are. How do they treat me? How do we vibe? How do I get along? What type of peace do I have in a relationship? And that it only take about 2 crazy relationships and then your mindset change.
I don't know. I think it may be easier. I feel like it may be easier for you to say that or see through that lens because you are a man. You don't have to walk the same beauty expectation journey that women have to, that girls have to, from the time they're 5 years old, with the pretty dress or the not pretty dress, or the curly hair or the not curly hair, or the, like getting dirty versus not getting dirty. I just feel like the walk that women have to walk is Nikki, it's not a pretty one.
Go through your thread, Nikki. I want you to go through your thread. Find you 20 to 25 married couples. Tell me, out of those married couples, how many of them look like they movie star, superstar material?
Right.
But this is the thing. Their dating pool is different. Everybody's dating pool is different.
Right.
No. You choose your dating pool. You just said, I'm going for the top.
But I'm saying, they're in their dating pool, they may have the top in that dating pool. So if it's only sardines in that dating pool, guess what? You're gonna get your
I disagree, Tierra. You have the ability, like, you can choose to say, there's people say I'm only gonna date white men. There's people say I'm only gonna stick to brothers. There's people say you gotta make this amount of money. There's people say you gotta be over 6'1". You choose your dating pool, but don't get mad at the pool that you chose. Change up your pool.
I am behind it. And that does make it more complicated because tall dudes get away with murder.
Just because he's tall.
I mean, people still have standards. They do want to find somebody that they like, that is attractive. Okay, yeah, everybody want to shoot for somebody as regal as a Barack Obama, or as educated as Barack Obama, or as fine as, I don't know who y'all think is fine, but that fine guy. But that don't mean it's necessarily that's who you shoot for, but you definitely don't want to go with a one-eyed monster. I mean, you want to.
What we talking about?
I'm saying you want to find somebody you're attractive to.
Right.
So attraction is it varies.
But see, this for example. Let me give you an example. You got certain things, not everything. You have to ask yourself, why is this attractive to me? So, for example, back at a certain point in my life when I wanted a girl who was around 5'3", 5'4", 5'5", it ain't had nothing to do with her. It had something to do with me and my weak self-esteem, because I would feel inferior with somebody my height or taller. It made me feel lesser. So once you fix yourself, then those type of things don't come into the equation no more. Now you've just widened your pool because of your own self-esteem. Ain't gonna be damaged because somebody happened to be the same height as you or taller. It's simple stuff like that.
I still be having preferences on certain things, like
and it's fine if you do, but ask yourself why. Like for me, I like bigger women. I have a reason for that.
What's the reason?
That's what my body.
That's what my body said. Goddamn it!
I like what
my body spoke when I.
That's the one.
Right.
Body has spoken.
Body has spoken.
Yeah.
The dating pool varies based off what you are attracted to. So if
Right.
if you like just white men, your dating pool is going to be, depending on where you're at, very large. If you like just
well, hold on, Tierra. How many white men are willing to marry black women? See, that's your pool right there. You can't say, it's a bunch of white men, but how many of those white men actually are willing to marry black women? That's your pool. That's a real pool.
Right. I said depending on where you are and things like that. If I'm in North Dakota, it might be a little difficult. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm in DC, I probably can find one. You know?
Right.
It just depends on where I'm at.
If you in Texas, you gonna find. If you in Texas, you gonna find them too.
If you in Austin, you ain't gonna find no black dude. Straight up.
We've had this conversation.
Nope. They dating the white women.
The little 8% that we used to have is dropped on down to 6%.
They're not there.
Nope.
This is not any black people in Austin. They not there, bro.
More than anything, the problem with people preferences is where and relation to where they live. Because if I go back, like think about back home in Decatur, Quinn, the dating pool is scarce for especially black women because either they're in somebody's jail.
You just got to be willing to date your cousin. That's all. You be all right.
So again, scarce. Shit, scarce.
You gotta wind that pool up.
Oh no.
Which cousin are we talking about? Second cousin, third.
And I think Matt said it's like, 85,000 people in Decatur. So I can only imagine what it's like there because it's 2 million here and there's no fucking black people in Austin. So I can only imagine in a town, 85,000 tops. Everybody knows everybody.
Everybody knows everybody. And so it's like, I don't, I feel for girls that be like, I want a man without kids, or a man that says, I want a woman without kids. Your dating pool is going to be very slim.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Especially the older you get.
Unless you're younger. So, it's a lot of factors that can come into what your preference is and what you prefer and things like that. But depending on where you're at, that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, then maybe you need to change your dating pool. Change your area.
That's what I said, Tierra. Gotta change your pool up.
But Q, you are like the representative of you have to be with somebody you're attracted to. You always say that. That is your shit. And you are correct in that. So if a person don't want something, they just don't want it.
So you know what? Don't be so damn picky all the time.
What?
That's there's certain things. I mean, maybe after you've gotten to a certain age. So the reason I don't really be hungry, even when I'm struggling, I don't have a picky palate. I can eat just about anything. There's very few now people who like, no, I can't eat that. I don't eat no seafood. I don't eat. Well, it's harder for you to eat. It's harder for you to find food. You don't have as many restaurant choices. All of that narrows down because you too particular. Now I ain't gonna say too particular, but you're very particular. So again, let me go back to this. Again, you can be particular as you want to be. No problem at all. But don't freaking complain when you say it ain't enough food stores that sell the type of food I like. It ain't enough restaurants. You need to expand your palate a little bit. You need to learn how to cook. There's a lot of things that you can do other than complaining. I don't like the pickiness combined with the complaining. I'm very irritated about that.
Right. Yeah.
And you gotta have some realistic expectations too, right? Like, I'm not a camping.
You shooting for the moon, Tierra. You said you going for the billionaire.
I said there's people out there. Now, I'd rather make the billion myself and not have to need somebody.
Get
that
it,
has to be.
Okay.
Get the comfort and light.
Okay.
He put a ring on it. He know what he doing.
Exactly. I'm just like
whatever.
Kevin Samuel's videos because I'm not in total disagreement with them with a lot of things. A lot of times he do be telling women have these high expectations. It's like, what are you bringing to the table? So it's like, yeah, I may want this NBA player, but will he want me? Like, what would I bring to him?
Yes.
So a lot of times we have to be realistic with our expectations, because yeah, we can all shoot for the moon, but are we really gonna get there? 9 times out of 10, no, because we haven't even thought, what can we do? Who are we to, want these things? So, not to say you shouldn't do it, but
be comfortable shooting. Just be comfortable shooting at the moon.
I think Kevin Samuels do kind of give good perspective to some women that be like, yeah, these things got to go on. He can't have no kids. He got to have $100K in the bank. He's got to.
Where did you get that from? And not only this, that's the question I'd like to ask somebody. Tell me this: how many people, like how many close friends, siblings, uncles, uncles, father figures, whatever, do you know how many people in your circle fit that criteria that you're looking for?
I think that's one
if the people in your circle don't even fit the criteria, how you think you're gonna draw somebody like that? You don't even speak that language.
They don't
you
eat
don't
the
even
same
have
restaurants.
the business acclimate to know they about business and you about spending and flossing. They be like, because let me tell you, 6 figures. Somebody with 6 figures, they are a work in progress. That people with 6 figures, that ain't like a millionaire. Like, oh, I made it, I can just relax. No. I'm pushing to the next level, and I want somebody who got the mindset to grind with me, or have the mindset to take care of the house while I'm pushing for this business. If you don't have either of those, then you're not. What value? Like you said, what value do you have?
Yeah, and that's why you got to stay in your lane. Another conversation that you were going to bring up is the gifts and situation there, and the Ari thing. And at first I was like, yeah, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see me gifting 28 acres of land. But wait.
Okay.
But wait. These people make millions of dollars. That's like a drop in the bucket for them.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So like, my little broke self, of course I wouldn't think like that. But somebody that this is nothing to go buy some land, like they spend that on trips and jewelry and other things. Hey, to each his own. And just because you're married doesn't mean that shit gonna work out. So if you're trying to put it into the right perspective to say, oh, you should only be doing this for your husband, hell, your husband can leave you too, honey. It's not just your boyfriend.
Who said that?
Well, what I didn't like about her comment
for your husband.
What I didn't like was what she said almost spoke to the type of woman that she may be. She made the comment. She said, if somebody gave something like that to me, I would feel like I just had to stay with them. Well, that's your motherfucking problem.
Yeah, who told that?
Fancy.
From the
Garciel, what is it? Yeah.
Oh, really?
That's why I told you to watch the little clip, because there's 4 women.
I couldn't find it. Yeah.
There's 4 women on a talk show, and they were speaking on this. I don't even know what the name of the show is.
The Real.
Oh, okay.
In relation to a series.
Yeah, and just the way that she said it, she was like, that's what married people do. The fact that she was like, oh, if he gave that to me, I feel like I had to stay. I ain't got to stay with you for a fucking thing ever in my life. This is a gift.
Give you a ring? Do that mean you got to stay?
Right. No. So it just makes you wonder, like, where is her mindset at as a woman that she's going to slam that? Because then, like I said, when we were talking, Tiffany Haddish had come out shortly after Ari had gifted Moneybag this land. Tiffany Haddish come out and she said, well, if Common basically were to propose to her, she's like, I don't want a diamond. I want property. Like, so are we finally getting away from this materialistic shit of spending $5,000 on a bag and $8,000 on some shoes and $150,000 on 6 different cars? Nope. I mean, everybody's always going to have their fancy flares. But it's like the reality is that fucking purse don't get you nowhere, but the 28 acres will.
I got a prediction.
What?
If what you said starts gaining any traction at all, you will see the powers that be. They're going to push their monkeys out there to do the most buffoonery type of stuff to get people back focused on frivolous spending of stuff that doesn't. I mean, you buying diamond stuff, they do have value, but it ain't the
Right.
same value as buying land. You don't see Bill Gates buying up a bunch of diamonds. He buying up a bunch of land. Ask yourself why.
Literally.
So anytime that you see like real progress start moving in a direction where it can actually if this trends and people start saying, hey, instead of this ring, we gonna start posting on here how, hey, we just bought 5 acres. If that starts to trend, you're gonna see the buffoons come out, and they
because they don't want that. They don't want that. They don't want you to actually have an ability to be
one person doing
wealthy, let alone have generational long money.
If they start seeing average people catch on and start doing that, they're gonna start pushing that trend in a different direction.
I will say this about Ari and Moneybag and all the like little young couples I've been seeing, like her ex G Herbo and his current girl, I forgot her name, starts with a T or whatever. I have been loving how this generation of hip hop in this, or that culture or whatever group, whatever you want to call it, they're all about showing off that they're in relationships. Like when I was growing up, the rappers were not in relationships. The rappers were not trying to have one woman. The first time we finally saw that is when Jay-Z was already a 40-something-year-old man. You understand what I'm saying? We didn't see that at all. So this new generation, they like want to be in relationships. They want to be
a power couple. Yeah.
Well, and Jay-Z and Beyonce probably gave them that, the little bit of that blueprint to being a power couple. Denise, was that G Herbo? And I don't think it was, but there was a rapper recently who did an interview, and he's a youngster rapper too, but did an interview and like literally stopped the interview dead in the middle, shouted out his girlfriend's line of something. I don't know what.
Lil Durk.
Okay, that's what it was.
Lil Durk.
And people gave him shit for shouting out his woman. And he was like, yeah. I mean, obviously some people loved it too, but there was a lot of people who were like giving him shit for like, why would you do that? Why would you mention her? That's just your girlfriend. And what is she doing for you? And I'm like, people are so jealous. People are.
Dirk song. He shouted out his girl and on a Drake song.
Mm-hmm. Drake thought it was funny.
He shouted her out. He was like, I'm just shouting out he's basically like, I'm just promoting my bitch because Drake's song gonna get 1 billion views.
Man.
Right?
Smart.
Step it up.
And
Smart.
Thing is, and that's the other thing that I've seen from this younger generation. Little Baby, I felt like I've seen him do this too. Lil Durk, I've seen him do this as well. They put their girls in a position to win. Like whenever, oftentimes, a lot of these girls, they'll have a little something going on already, and they push it even more. So the girl don't need them. And don't you want to be with somebody who don't need you anyway?
True. Very true.
I'm liking what I'm seeing from these younger kids. They really doing something else that we was not doing.
Yeah. And then no, they are, but I'm just gonna sound a little negative, even though it is positive. I think men, especially of a certain caliber, especially the younger guys, they also figured out. I don't even want to say that, man. That sounds cruel. Even you promoting your girl, if you still want to do something else, it ain't gonna curve it no way. So like back in the day, how men they wanted to throw the illusion of them being single out there because they wanted to keep that attraction value out there. It ain't hurting nothing as far as you still getting what you want, your sales. Actually, that person on your arm, it increases your value overall. So I think after a while they learned that it don't even benefit me to try to act like I'm single. In no way it does.
That's true.
Agreed.
Some women will like a dude more just because they see a pretty girl on his arm. Now
that ain't even for stars. That's for your average person. I realize that.
Absolutely. That's why you don't tell everybody what your man be doing for you.
They're
like, she getting what? Okay. When I see him, I'm gonna be like, hey.
If you are listening, don't be that fucking woman. If you listening, don't be her. You are not doing the collective no fucking good by being that chick. Ugh, I can't
Broadcast
Well, hold
stand.
on. Let me
I
talk to the
can't. I
men
can't
also.
stand that chick, man.
Broadcast yourself.
Let me talk to the men real quick too.
Go on ahead.
I was gonna do a segment on this at one point in time. I give a little bit of game up. Men, if you got a good woman, you got a bad one on your side. And women pick up on the vibe of a man who has a good woman. Don't think it's you. That's because so sometimes people will ask the question, man, when I was single, I couldn't hardly find nobody. Now that I'm with somebody, they all on me. That's the good woman effect. She take care of you, she builds you up, she call you a king, she do all of these things. Now that aura
got you glowing,
is now oozing off of you. And everybody else see that. So don't get it twisted because people, I'm like, yeah, I got a nice one at home. She take care of me well. And I know what they see on me, but it ain't really me. You ain't remember when you were single, you couldn't find them like that. The reason they just flocking to you now, it ain't really because of you. It's because you got a good one at home. That's presenting you as a king and making you glow. So just listen. Don't get caught up in your head thinking it's you. It really ain't. You gotta step back and understand what's really going on.
Or that chick was that with you in the trenches, and now that you done came up, them girls wouldn't have hollered at you if you was broke. But when now we done built something together, now all they flocking like, like birds.
Right.
And now you thinking, oh, okay, yeah, they only seeing this who you are now, but not where you came from. And if you ever lose it, they're the first to leave.
Right. And part of the reason I can walk the way I walk with my shoulders the way that they do and the confidence that I got is because I know what I got at home. Men, don't forget that. Don't start thinking it's you. That's all I'm saying. Realize what builds you up. That's all I'm saying.
Say that again.
Closed caption. Wait a minute. It ain't you. That's funny.
That's good advice, Q, though. That's true. Like when a person pours love into you, because that's what it is. When a person is pouring love into you, it gives you a different type of confidence. You gonna walk,
absolutely,
like said, shoulders back, head high. You just gonna feel a type of way because the person is giving you that love,
right?
And you radiate, like you said, you're radiating that, and women are like looking like, but they don't want to do the work.
No,
required.
And then the old saying like, "Oh, he thirsty or she thirsty." You doing all this and you're not even thirsty because you well taken care of, and that shows as well. They're like, dang, a person can walk to me, say hi, speak, and walk off. Like, hold on, what are you about? What's she about? Men see that on women too. If it's a good man on there, it reflects off a good women. Like, dang, okay.
I had somebody said, "Oh, I knew somebody was gonna scoop you up." Excuse me, because you know how good of a person I am. That energy, that spirit, that you see that. So I mean, and they know that when you get love, probably like Denise said, it's just an aura about you that, although you can't see it, you feel it. You feel that love is being, it's present.
Energy
it's
can
present.
be felt, right?
Hell yeah, energy is felt. If it's not, then it probably isn't real. If you don't feel somebody's energy, then that means it's void of something. Like I have to have a connection with that energy before anything else,
That
and everybody ain't got it.
Everything.
Yeah.
There's some people I'm like, I don't know you, but I know you walk with God. I can tell you that.
Right.
I'm not even saying they Christian, whatever. I'm just
right.
Whatever you walk with God. God like you for some reason. You feel a different type of energy. And they know it too.
Yeah.
Right, no, 9:29. What we doing?
What else do we have? We had twerking.
The social norms.
The social norm. Did y'all?
So what is that? What was that about?
Are there social norms that we should get rid of? The example that was given on the post was calling little black girls fast. was to stop calling little black girls fast. So that was like the main response on the what are some of the social norms that we need to get rid of.
I
Like,
agree with that one.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's like,
especially coming from their mama.
R. Kelly. Well, but you know what? And the thing about it, you see this with the whole R. Kelly thing that kind of unfolded this week. They don't believe girls when you start saying things like that. When you start making it their fault that they're being, raped, or, some predator is latching onto them, that becomes a problem in itself, because then it excuses the behavior and allows the behavior to go on, because you're saying, well, she shouldn't have did this. She shouldn't have been out there. She shouldn't have been wearing this. And then no one is focused on the person that's actually doing the thing that's wrong. And hence why R. Kelly was kind of revered still to this day, because they say it's the parents' fault. It's the girl's fault for going over there and not and keep excusing his behavior. So
nowhere is it his fault.
Yeah, quit saying little girls are fast.
No, she
but
fast.
Don't you think that usually comes from either their mother or auntie or like an older that's usually where it comes from. I'm like, y'all got to get away from like speaking that into your children's lives.
Yes,
I agree.
And who you think was the biggest one saying free R. Kelly? Black women.
I know. I was so bothered by that. But I also am very well aware of how much sexual assault happens within the family. And that's not just black families, but, certainly there's a lot of sexual assault that happens in families where, oh, don't wear that dress if Uncle so-and-so comes over. And, oh, don't wear them little shorts if, Uncle so-and-so comes over. But Uncle so-and-so still going to come over. But I got to go change my clothes. Like, why is Uncle so-and-so still coming over? So it's like, it goes back to just the secrets of the family of allowing inappropriate behavior to happen, but putting it off on the victim of inappropriate behavior, but not addressing the actual inappropriate behavior. So, oh, she's just being fast. No, she's not. She's fucking been molested, or she's had somebody comment on her boobs already, and she's fucking 10. Or she's had somebody in the family comment on, oh, well, she's had her period, so, she's ripe now. Like, what? All of those things are like, those are such inappropriate types of conversations and things to be said, but so many times it's just passed off because it's Uncle so-and-so or Grandpa so-and-so or cousin so-and-so. But what I have found, in my professional world is that there's generally a long line of sexually abusive men in those families. And so it's just been kind of swept under the rug by grandma, by mom, by aunt this, aunt that, like everybody knows, but just don't wear them shorts, or go outside and play when he comes over, or go in your room when he comes over. So it just continues to allow that type of, oh, well, I'm still going to listen to R. Kelly. I don't care. Like, and you already know how I feel about that whole situation. But I was kind of taken aback by how many women in particular still supported him. Even yesterday I was seeing people post stuff about him. Well, he's been found guilty, so can I listen to his music now? What? Why? He makes music to the sex with your little seventh grader, 8th grader, 9th grader. Like, that's what you want to listen to? What is wrong with you? I really have to question people when they do shit like that.
And it's two sides to that, because it is him being a predator, but he was also a victim himself.
True.
And we need to
most predators, right? Most predators are.
And we got to get out the idea that little boys don't cry. Don't cry, little boys.
Right.
Because a lot of times they need to cry to let you know that they've been hurt and are afraid and are scared, and that is okay. And maybe someone needs to be present to see those things, to be able to assist and help them, instead of having stuff bottled up inside them, and then they end up manifesting some anger or something else because of that. We need to be able to give the same warm response to a boy crying as a little girl crying. And a lot of times that it can be healing in itself, because we know our boys are very troubled. You see the crime rate and men, the violence in men Because we told them that they ain't supposed to cry. They supposed
Suck
to
it
be
up.
tough.
Suck it up. Yeah.
How is that
Men don't cry. Men don't cry. What? But I'm crying. So what does that mean? So then you got boys who are questioning themselves probably their whole entire life because all they've been told is men don't cry. But damn, like the water's coming out of my eyes. So what do you call this then? You know, does that make me not be a man? Does that question my manhood? Like, so now I have to prove just how fucking manly I am. So let me go put my hands on her. Let me go, you know, commit this crime. Let me go, you know, whatever the case may be. It's like the what is it called? The overcompensation, you know, for lack of fucking love or lack of a safe space, you know.
And we don't teach people how to, boys or girls, we don't teach them properly. Boys don't cry, girls, oh, just cry, just let it out. But at the end of the day, neither one of them, you're not teaching them how to process that emotion.
Right.
So either after you get it out, boys and girls get it out now. Use your words. Tell me what you
literally.
My there you
favorite
go.
phrase.
There
my favorite phrase. Use your words.
Right. Use your
favorite
words.
phrase.
And then let me help you, you know, process this, what you're feeling. Because this ain't gonna be the last time you cry. But you need to understand how you're feeling and what it is that you're feeling. And how you feel it, take it in, accept it, acknowledge it, and then, you know, continue to move past it once that time is gone. And so you properly learn how you go into it and what's the next stage to properly come out of it. But they don't teach boys or girls that. You just cry and cry for no reason or don't cry at all. That's not, you know, you're not helping the child navigate through those emotions.
Use your words is my favorite phrase. I remember the first time I heard that, I was working in childcare when I was like 20 years old. This is when Cassia was still a baby. And I'm so grateful that I worked in childcare as long as I did, because I got to learn so many amazing things. I don't know if I ever would have known about kids had I not been in that environment. But it stops a tantrum usually every single time.
Right.
Use your words. Use your words. Use your words. And sometimes they don't even know what the words are, but they know, okay, I have to tap out of this emotional space that I'm in just for a second to try to start pulling out these words.
Right.
And you think about how many adults don't know how to use their words.
Woo, child.
You know, it's like, fuck. It seems so simple and so like toddler-esque, but if you were never given that tool early on, shit, trying to teach an old dog new tricks is challenging when you get older. But use your words is amazing. I'm trying to think, what are some of the societal norms?
I got to think about that for a second.
I know, I do too. You know, I mean, honestly, there's so many societal norms I would like to actually get rid of. I just can't pinpoint, you know, because on one hand, I do believe in gender roles. So there's some things that I absolutely am always going to support, but then there's some things that I totally think need to get broken, you know, shatter some of these norms and expectations.
I think we got a lot of them as we were kids, like stay in a child's place, do as I say, not as I do.
Yes, don't speak unless you're spoken to.
Yeah, and what we do with kids is we don't give them the freedom to be able to think for themselves and actually be independent. You're teaching them co-independence because now they have to rely on you to be seen, heard, and spoken to. It's like, okay, it's like the post I said about, you know, about the food thing.
I was just going to mention that. Yep.
Yeah. So it's like those type of things, you know, we develop at a very young age, those social norms. And it's something that we just, it's habit because of generations. This is what we were taught.
Yeah. That if you don't like what I ate, then you're not finna eat nothing. Now, on one hand, I'm not cooking multiple meals. I'm vegan, so I, you know, and I read all of the feedback on there, and you know, I'm not gonna make something I know my kids don't like. I am not gonna force them to eat a meal that I know they're not interested in eating. So if it's a meal that I can modify two ways, once for me and once for them, I'll throw on some chicken, I'll throw on some shrimp, I'll throw on something that's simple that I can throw in a pot in a skillet and cook for them. But I'm not making two meals. But I do subscribe to, you're going to eat what I cook. But again, I don't cook what they don't like. And in this, it allows them to grow a really good palate of outside of fucking chicken nuggets, macaronis, French fries, and you know, SpaghettiOs. You ain't gonna eat peanut butter and jelly every day, all day, because you don't want to eat this 3-course meal over here I made because it's got different colors in it. You gonna eat this shit because I know you're gonna like it.
Like for me, the balance comes in. You can make what you want for breakfast. You can make what you want for lunch. That's when you got your options. When I make dinner, then that's what you're going to eat, that or not eat it.
Right.
But you're not going to choose everything that you want to eat all the time, because you got to, and you got to, and the part of it is know your children too. Part of it is, even if you say you don't like it, what don't you like about it? Yeah, I just don't. Have you tasted it yet? Okay, I need you to taste it first and then tell me if you don't like it.
That's our number one. That's our number one rule, is you have to at least try something.
Right.
You don't have to finish it, but you have to try it. Now, and if you tell me I don't like it before you try it, I might whoop you. I really might.
Right.
So you better try first.
Over trial and error over enough period of times, you be mindful. My daughter, she don't like tomatoes, anything with tomatoes. She just don't.
So you don't make her nothing with tomatoes.
The moment she's gonna gag, because that's just one of her things. The way I don't like okra is the way she don't like tomatoes.
Right.
So so that thing, that's understandable.
Right.
There's other, so I'm not gonna make her a bunch of tomato based stuff.
But not you gonna starve if you don't eat this. Like, that's definitely I think a societal norm a lot of us came from. Well, if you don't like what I made, you finna be hungry. Oh, that's
on your plate. That's
yes.
Yeah, see, I don't make you eat everything on your plate.
Yeah. Remember back in the day, it was the kids in Africa starving. So
Yep.
Always.
All the time.
Always.
It's like, what? So
send it to them then, goddamn it. I ain't eating this.
Bad habit, because now we're overeaters.
Hello, half our country, over 70% of our country.
Even in my mind, I'm like, I gotta eat it all. I had to break myself out of that. I was like, eat all of this stuff. It's not.
I will get a to-go box for a half a piece of something, but it's gonna go home with me. I'm not gonna force feed myself.
I feel like I finally got comfortable doing that last year, and it killed it when it's this much left. I hate doing it when it's this much left.
Right.
But I'm like, I don't want it. I'm throwing it in the trash.
Oh no, it's coming home with me, because that's a snack. I'm bringing everything home. That's a snack. And I learned I learned, probably around the time I went vegan, is, because a lot of us were raised with kind of force feeding mentality, that we do just eat until our plate is clean, as opposed to just eating until we're not hungry anymore. And that was a really different experience for me, because I come from, my dad was a chef, and he was a big dude, and he cooked all the time, and so food was just I'm a foodie. Food is just what we do. That's one of my love languages. And so, just enjoying food, I just would keep going until you're about to bust. Well, nobody really likes that feeling. No. And so when I read somewhere, just eat until you're not hungry anymore, I was like, that's a fucking concept. Who does that? But it makes so much sense. See, I don't. That is the most uncomfortable feeling. I don't.
I don't want to eat till I hurt myself, but I want that itis where I'm ready to go to sleep. Now, there was a lesson in that, because especially for those parents who allow their children to make their plate. And then it's like, all right, if you putting all that on your plate, then you better
eat it. Yep.
But it taught you, don't take on more than what I can handle. Take less and come back and get some more if you want to, but don't what they say, let your eyes get
eyes is bigger than your belly. Yeah.
And you do that a couple times, you learn your lesson. Like, no, let me not take too much.
So what do y'all think about forcing religious belief on your kids? Like, you gotta go to church. Like, what are your thoughts on, what if your kid's like, yeah, no, I don't know, Christianity is not for me, or you know what, maybe I want to try this, or maybe I just don't believe in God at all. Like, where do y'all stand?
That's a good question.
I would say, one, at a young age, it's about exposure first. So you don't know what you don't care for or like if you're not exposed. So as a parent, if you're going to church, naturally your kids are going with you. You're going to get exposed. Once I start thinking that they get to a certain age point, I don't think it should be forced. But that age is going to be different for different kids because of their, how they mature. So that may be 14 for some kids. That might be 15. But I don't think my 6-year-old should have as much options as maybe a teenager would.
Why though?
Being that 9 times out of 10, if I'm going to church, I probably don't have a babysitter just to sit at home with you. So you got to come with mom. Just like if I'm going to the grocery store, you got to come with mom. So it's more
of because of their mental capacity to understand what they want, and more so just because like that's just the setup.
Yeah, it's just more of like, it's my child. I can't leave them. I'm going to church. You got to go to Bible study with me. You know what I mean? Because they don't have the mental capacity to really I mean, they get certain things. Like I still remember some of the things that we had in Bible class when I was young. I didn't care to go. I'd much rather be at home, but
watching cartoons.
But my mother, my mother was at church. She wasn't gonna leave us at home, so it was more of that dynamic. But I think,
and not just that, it's you as a person, as an adult. If you feel that it's beneficial for you, then you're also going to want to expose your child to the same thing that you feel is beneficial. Now, I draw a line personally when I think you try to force in, because especially religion is something, especially when it comes to Christianity, you can't force that on. It's impossible to force like becoming saved. You can't force that on. Somebody has to believe out of their own will and volition. You can't force that on anybody or make anybody believe. That's their choice. But if you feel that it helps you and that it's beneficial and that there's good principles to pull from it, then of course, that's just like money management. If you feel strongly about money management, you're going to teach your kids money management. If you feel strong about organizational skills, you're going to teach anything that you feel is beneficial. You're always going to impart that to your children as well. There's nothing that you're going to say, I feel that this is helpful for me, but I'm not going to expose my children to it. It's
I tell you,
it's not going to happen.
When they say, I don't want to do this, what age are you allowing them to not do?
It would have to depend on what that is. I mean, if we're speaking specifically, well, and my situation is totally different. I didn't grow up going to church. I didn't grow up, being forced to go. We went for a period of time when we first moved to Texas, and I got confirmed and all this stuff. Like we did the church thing for a while, and it was enjoyable because for me it was social. But I've never been a believer in the stories that were told, the conditioning that was put out every Wednesday and Sunday. So if my child were to say, I want to go to church, I wouldn't knock that, because I would still want, them to be able to experience that for themselves. They certainly know, where I stand. So I don't know if that would be something that they would subscribe to. But if ever, I remember there was a time in Cash's life where my sister-in-law bought her a Bible and, took her to church a little bit here and there. And she definitely had some questions and she was seeking and searching. And I never discouraged that type of thing. So for me, it wouldn't be that the kid didn't want to go. For me, it'd be that the kid wanted to go. And like, how I'm going to get you there, because I'm not going. I'm not going to sit through this because you want to go. But I'll find an adult who'd be happy to take you with them, because generally adults that go to church are happy to take other people with them, But if but in that particular situation, if it was the other way around and I was a churchgoer, my kids were like, I don't want to do this, I guess because I see it the way I do, I think I would be okay with them making that decision. And I'd have to understand why. Is it because you want to stay home and sleep in? Or is it because you're just really not feeling any of this process and the message and the...
Yeah, you're going to have to give me a real educated reason.
Yeah. Just like you're not going to let your kids stay home because they want to. Like, no, from school, why are you staying home today? I need to know why you don't want to go to school today.
You need a real reason.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah. But you know what? It was kind of like I didn't do this for my son, and my mom did for me when we were real young. We got baptized, and I didn't know what the heck that was going on.
I wouldn't do that either. Yeah,
I just felt like I was drowning because they had the big tank.
You had the dunk.
They dunked you in, and it was just like, it was kind of traumatizing because I'm like, what am I doing? I didn't really get it. And so a lot of people get their kids baptized really young. I just kind of felt like, what if this is not even his religion?
Right.
I'm baptizing him into something that, one, I feel like you get a better grasp of it when you get of a certain age.
Right.
Because like I said, I was just like so confused.
Right.
So I did not baptize my son. I battled with the thought of like, oh man, should I baptize him? Should I baptize him? But I thought for him, let him find religion the way he see fit, and then do the rituals that, or whatever things that comes with that. I thought that should be more of his choice.
Yeah,
that never came across my mind. Actually, I don't like just make. It's just against my principle to make anybody do anything. But I'm about to be real hypocritical now. Even though my son did come to me and say he wanted to be baptized, but I would be hypocritical because I was like, when I was brought up, after I reached a certain age, I wasn't forced to go to church like every day, like I used to have to. But still on Sunday mornings, oh yeah, you going to church. You don't want to go to church no more, then once you leave out this house, then you're free to do whatever you want to. But as long as you live in this house, yeah, you're going on Sunday. And that's probably the mold I'd see myself taking to some degree. If this is what our house does, then this is what you do. I'd never force my child to say they believe or to believe in anything. I don't think that you should. And even furthermore, even like, I don't even view church the same way most people view church. You can take it on a lot of different levels. You could take it on a spiritual level. You could take it on a real Christian level, or you could just take it on a moral principle level. So usually, even when my son, after we would attend a service, I talk to him about it, and whatever story or Bible, Sunday school they learn, I talk to him about just the moral principles of what that was talking about. How does that story apply to you? How can you apply that to your life? What is it saying about the way that you should live and treat other people in X, Y, Z? I don't go into the whole. I don't think it's just. I think how a person can relate it to their own life. I think that's just the most beneficial thing. So yeah, they still gonna come if I'm going.
Even if they were to grow a resentment towards that, you think that you would still require that?
I don't think they would.
Right.
And again, the way I am on here is the way that I am
right.
at home.
Yeah.
Hey, let's have a conversation. You tell me, what is it that you learn? What is it that you disagree with? What is it that you feel is not only, because if you feel neutral about it, I don't care about it. But if you feel like it's a detriment to you, then tell me why.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
As opposed to, if you don't go, you're going to hell. This is what you got to do to get the golden ticket, to get the pass.
No, that ain't.
And I think that's how a lot of people's upbringing kind of was. That if you didn't do this, well, this is what's going to happen. And we don't want this to happen. Like, so you scare people into going to church. You scare people into a commitment.
And I definitely witnessed that. But that's never been a part of my conversation with my kids. Because I don't even, that's not my focal point.
I'd like to get rid of that social norm, damning people to hell, to have an outcome that's favorable, which can be damning gay people, damning gay marriage, There's no
way that you can get rid of that though.
I know.
That's a part of
I'd like to though.
Yeah, but that's the religious belief. That's what they believe. So it's like, how do you tell somebody to unbelieve the principles of how they gain eternal life? So that'll never happen.
It's so many different things I can think of as like social norms, like the father eats first, or that whole idea of we thought.
Do you think that's really a social norm? Like
right,
but I'm saying nowadays I don't.
His plate was made first. Yeah.
Well, I believe like this. It's just not a lot of homes that have the mother and the father in that. So
there's that.
A lot of people,
a lot of people
dinner
are
every day. They picking it up from the store.
What you eat, you get something on the way to get what you gonna get on the way in, type of stuff. But we did have we had a lot of patriarchy type of social norms that we created. That was the man, was to eat first, get the biggest.
I'm okay with patriarchy.
Biggest piece of chicken, You couldn't get the breast. Get your hands off the breast. That's dad's breast. The woman fixing his plate had to fix his plate. Those type of things.
You know why I'm okay with patriarchy? I'm thinking this off the top of my head.
Because you're a man. Because you benefit exceptionally fucking well from it. Because you were like you got like the fucking stars on your vest.
Nope, not even that.
Wait, Q, before you.
I like how I present these questions before I start. You know what I like about
say, I appreciate you so much for saying the most non-PC thing that could ever be said.
I like patriarchy. I like it.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So the thing I like most about patriarchy, this is me thinking off the top of my head, and I use myself as an example, and this is probably how a lot of households were. The mother ran the house. The mother was the manager of the house. You heard her voice the most. She was the one who was going to correct you and tell you what to clean up and tell you what to do. Like, she was the authority voice constantly. So you already looked at her as the head. A lot of times the father would be away at work. He didn't naturally speak as much as the mother did. So it's like there's certain things like that. There's certain things that I feel was done to make sure that the rest of the family presented him in the right type of light, so that he didn't have to be the one, enforcing the law all the time in order to have that authority. There's certain things that you do in order to show respect to a person without them having to, even though they don't have the same say so.
Crickets. I guess.
And it's something about that. Okay, man, mom, like, okay, she making him a plate first. Like, I probably wouldn't think nothing much of it. But when you see mom cooking him a plate first, or he get this, or, there's certain things without him having to say it and put his hand of authority on that, there was something about it that by the person that you looked up to, which was your mother, by her actions, she showed that this person is somebody who's definitely to be respected. Because even men right back then, they didn't communicate with children the same way that we do now in a lot of instances. But it's just like, I mean, in any situation or setting, when somebody looks up to someone, it was like, almost like you can say Malcolm X with Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad didn't speak that much, but for Malcolm X to always revert everything he knew, and he always spoke highly of, and he always reverenced and respected, and he always enforced like acknowledgement of him in every way. That's what caused people to respect Elijah Muhammad more so than Malcolm X, because Malcolm X was the spokesperson. He was the one that you saw speaking and preaching all the time. But the way that you honor someone else who doesn't speak as much, had Malcolm X not spoke so highly and so frequently of Elijah Muhammad the way that he did, he wouldn't be put in the same light. Their movement wouldn't be what it is right now had the main spokesperson not always spoke toward their real leader. And in a man-woman situation, people hate to say it, but back in the day, if the man was the one bringing in the bread, and the woman was at home working, he was their source of living. Without the man working in his paycheck, you don't have a house, you don't have food, you don't have these cars. We got to make sure that we show the proper respect to him.
But is that a respect thing as so much as like an appreciation thing? And like, I saw a post earlier today that I didn't get into, but they were talking about how the difference between the mentality of people who think that their children should come first and people who feel like the spouse should come first. And there was this thing, I forgot who said it or what it was, but it was saying like, if you put your kid first, like the question was, if your kids need shoes, you or your kids, who gets the shoes?
Kids.
And they're like, no, the parents. Because if you can't go to work because you don't have shoes, those kids can't eat. So it's kind of like, if especially back in the day during the Depression eras and all that kind of stuff, if this man is working all day and he's probably working a labor intensive job, yeah, you don't need the big piece of chicken. I need you to fall back and catch a wing, because this man needs the nourishment that he needs so he can continue to provide for this family. So I think there were certain things that were done back then that weren't just about a respect thing, but it was like about survival as well. Like it was deeper than that, and we just carried it on into like 2021, and we don't necessarily need to.
Yeah, I agree, because you know what, when they say don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, that was because the baby was the last one to get, so you usually got the water in the tub. So this is the thing. It was a saying because it was true. The baby was the last one to take the bath. So the family would put the water in their tub or whatever. You know, they had to go to the well and get the water and heat it up. Dad got the babe first. Then mom, then the baby. And what the reason why they say don't throw the baby out with the bathwater is because baby was so dirty. He was the last person to go. So
that's terrible.
But dad
because
was
the man
worker.
is usually going to be the dirtiest one. The dirtiest one, you should take it last. The baby should have took the bath first.
He got the bath water first. So
because it was hot. It was fresh and it was hot.
It was fresh and he was in it. So that's how that saying.
And if you're the dirtiest, then you probably need the hottest water in order to get that dirt up off you too.
Like all those sayings, all those sayings were like real.
You ever try to wash dishes with cold water? It don't work.
Yeah. Pot to piss in and a window to throw out of. Like all that stuff is like from really real time where people really didn't have.
Like, where's your window at? I need to see the window in this apartment because I don't even know where to throw this piss out of. But think about it in the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
When they kill, the male eat first, and the babies get the scraps that's left over.
But I think that was a lot of what we see, traditions that we have, is the dynamic has changed so much since that time. Women are the breadwinners a lot.
Right.
So yeah, we all get in the house at the same time. So you say, well, I got to cook.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Now let me say, Tia, I have a big problem with men trying to hold that same standard when it ain't the same scenario. The whole scenario I brought up was back in the day when the man worked and the woman kept the house.
She stays home.
If both of y'all working now, y'all got some shared responsibilities. You trying to do all that what the woman should do after both of y'all just got off work? That's crazy. What's wrong with you? That don't even make sense. You know it's crazy go ahead.
No, I was just saying a lot of times what we will do is we'll either rotate or we'll cook together. I cut up this, you do fry this or whatever. We are shared in the responsibility. Everybody is a part of this household. Absolutely. Everybody contributes to this household. And so that's kind of our makeup. And then also sometimes it's just one person is a better cook. So sometimes you'd be like, nah, I'm gonna let you cook that dish, or I'm gonna cook this dish. So, but it's never where it's only someone's task to do everything. Now, there's certain things that I probably would leave to my son, like take out the trash or stuff like that, because he's an able-bodied young man. But there's not necessarily that I can't. And there's sometimes I'd be like, ooh, let me just hurry up and take this trash out. It's funky. But you know what I'm saying? It's not like it's.
But then also
do that.
It could be like if we think about taking out the trash. Usually that's not done during the day. It's usually kind of at the end of the day too. So it's kind of safer for him to be by a dumpster or outside at night with something in his hand as opposed to his mother. You know.
Very true. Very true. A lot of things was a safety precaution.
True that. All right, before we get off, y'all want to hear something real random?
Oh Lord, what you got?
Oh, that thunder came.
I told you it was monsoon over here, man.
Yeah, it hit a little while.
It's been cracking and lightning and thundering this whole entire time.
So super random. So Tia, you remember the post we talked about? You put the post up here maybe a week or so ago where the mama was whooping the boy, and it said, "Did this help or hurt?"
Yes.
Well, I look at this picture, I'm like, she kind of fine on the real. She pretty.
Oh Lord!
She got tattoos and all that. I'm like, shoot, yeah.
And I know exactly, like I visualized that exact thing.
It's like, yeah,
Lord have mercy.
That's my type right there.
That's his type.
He got some BDSM fantasy going on over there. That was was a good conversation though. Last week was a spectacular conversation, y'all.
Oh yeah, it is.
We always have great conversations. That was just very interesting, just to hear the take on child rearing. Always.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right, y'all. We hitting the 2-hour mark right now, so we're gonna close it on up for the East Coast people.
Yes, thank y'all for sticking in here with us.
It's good seeing Denise.
Yes, glad you jumped in. You got some news for us?
Better with Denise.
Yeah, like I'm actually going to be shooting in 2 days, so
wow.
taking care of like the logistical stuff, so now I can actually think about enjoying it instead of being stressed the fuck out. So,
good.
I'm like, let me hop on Free Thinkers and get some good vibes and good energy.
Yay!
Yay! Well, congratulations for all that's going to come your way, all you've done. Blessings to you, girl.
And now you're not shooting in Louisiana, though, right?
No,
you decided not to do that. Okay.
Nah, time constraints and things like that. And I was just like, I need things to be moving like the New York minute. That's what I'm used to, and I'm on a deadline. Like
right. Yeah, it's coming up.
So I was like, sorry guys, gotta find somebody else because y'all tripping right now. I'm not.
Well, we're ready for it.
Thank you.
Hell yeah, absolutely. We are definitely ready for it. So that's exciting. I know when I saw you post on there today, I was like, oh, I'm taking a social media break, and but I saw you post that, and I was like, okay. So then when I got your message today, I was like, hell yeah, she's coming to the group. So it's good to see you. I'm glad you gave us some FaceTime today. Gave us some of your energy.
Absolutely.
I miss y'all.
We miss you.
It's literally the best piece of art I've ever created in my whole life. This song that I'm about to put out.
All right now.
Artist and all that cute shit, but it's the best piece of art I ever made.
Oh,
raising the bar. Raising the bar.
Okay. Oh, I'm excited. Okay. Keep us posted. You already know how we support.
I will.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Any news for you, Tiara? You got anything?
I got another announcement coming out Friday. So I gotta sign the thing. So I'll make an announcement on Friday.
Okay, big things popping over here. Hey!
I remember the last announcement I just so happened to be on Free Thinkers for, and it was insane.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what this is.
This has been a wonderful ride. I am, just so amazingly blessed, and like I said, this is probably like the one thing I can just like, because my brain is all, and I know Denise is the same way. It's like it's all about your art or your craft, and so this gives me that moment to just take a break, because you
breathe.
If you get too wrapped up in it, you can't be creative, and if you're too much into it, you know what I mean? So sometimes you need that break to be able to think and regroup. So this is my outlet, and I love it.
Yes.
So
awesome.
Friday.
Awesome. All right, Friday it is. All right, cool. Well, thank y'all for joining the conversation. Of course, anybody who's watching, appreciate you for tuning in here with us. And of course, if you have any topics that you want to see us talk about or want to participate in, would like to moderate, of course, just shoot me or Q a message. I'll have this over on YouTube here in a little bit. If you haven't followed us over on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we will always follow back. We always show love back. And of course, hit the share button. Totally free.
All right, guys.
Good night, y'all.
See y'all next week.
Love you guys.
Bye.